Hey everybody, this is Sean Kiesel again doing another video for the Picmonic YouTube channel. So this one's a little bit different. Last time I spoke about should DO students take both the complex and the USMLE. And there's going to be a lot of other videos coming down the pipeline, but this one is more geared towards applying to residency and how you can get the most out of your interview and to find the best place for you. So this video is all about the 13 questions that you should ask residency programs at your interview. It's very important for you to ask these questions. It's very important for you to figure out if the residency offers everything that you want. But before we get into that, just a little background on me. I am a second-year family medicine resident, scored very well on the boards, decided to pursue family medicine for reasons that I really enjoyed it, and found a great program, made sure the program was a perfect fit for me, did my sub-I or audition rotation, really enjoyed it, and asked a lot of questions during my sub-I and during my interview process. So hopefully some of this information can help you find which program is the right fit for you and is going to give you the best education that you can possibly get and make you into the best doctor you can be. So let's jump into it. There's 13 of them. We'll go through them fairly quickly so that this isn't too long of a video for you, okay? So the first question is, you want to make sure to get a sense of how the program supports residents. It's important when you're going through residency that the program is supportive of you, whether that be financial resources, teaching you about loans, teaching you about personal finance, whether that be education. How do they support you educationally? Is it all on you to get subscriptions to apps, or do they provide that for you? And then kind of emotionally and physically, an important thing to me when I was applying to residencies was to have a little bit of time off, because I love medicine, but medicine is not my life. I have a lot of other things that I pursue and things that I do, like this video that I'm doing here. And my family, that's important to me too. And so do they give me time off? Do they support me in taking some time off and those types of things? And so some questions you can ask to gauge how they support you is, how you can just straight up ask them, how does your program support its current residents? What do you provide for your current residents in terms of education, finance, time off, anything like that? Do you help residents find jobs afterwards, or is that completely on them? And then other things you can ask are, what is a typical day like in this residency, to get a sense of how intense it is. And you can, along those same lines, how many hours do typical residents work? These types of things help you to gauge just how supportive the residency program is of their current residents, and that gives you a sense of how they'll be with you. Super important to know those things. So the next question I like to ask, and this is something you can usually figure out on the website, but I usually ask anyways, is how many residents in each class? And I'll just straight up ask them, hey, how many residents does the program have? Have you changed class sizes recently? Are there any other residents at this particular hospital? Because this is kind of a educational support, right? If they have a 5-to-1 resident to faculty ratio, if they just crank through the residents, but they don't have a lot of faculty, then education might suffer. If there's a lot of other residencies at that hospital, then education might suffer again. And so these are the types of things I look for to figure out how much support there is educationally. And those are pretty simple to either, like I said, look at on the website, and then if you have questions after you look at them on the website, you can kind of ask at your interview and ask those clarifying questions about how many residents they have, about the other programs at the hospital, and that kind of stuff. And then number 3, what is the call schedule like? There are some places that have insane call schedules, and there are others that just don't have a whole lot of call, right? And the fact of not a whole lot of call sounds like a great gig, but at the end of the day, call shifts are where we feel a lot of responsibility, and it's where we take a lot of responsibility for patients. And so more call shifts is better for learning, but so much call shifts can really lead to burnout. And really make you regret your choices. And so this is an important question to ask, and it's one that's not typically listed on the website, so it's a great interview question. Things that I like to ask here are just, what are the average on-call requirements? Is there 1 resident, 2 residents? How many weekends do residents work a month? And then what is the typical number of hours worked on a call shift? Are they 24? Are they 48? I mean, we can't do 48, right? ACJME guidelines don't allow it, but are they 24-hour shifts with some hand transition or handoff time afterwards for documenting? Are they 12-hour call shifts? What kind of call shifts are we looking at in general? And this is a great way to show that you are very interested in the program, talking about the call schedule. Residents, we love to talk about the call schedule for better or worse, and so it's one good way to get us talking and one good way to show interest. and really a great way to gauge if this program is going to overwork or underwork, or just work you right perfectly how they should, type of thing. And along those same lines, the fourth question you need to ask residencies at their interview is, what is the work-life balance? How many days off a month? Do they have admin days? Do they have wellness days? Do they encourage you to take vacation, or do they, see who can take the least vacation throughout residency? Time off is very healthy for our mental health, and I think medicine is transitioning into this take care of the providers type of mentality so that they can take care of patients. But really, it's important to ask at the residency interview, what the work-life balance is. And this is a great question to ask the residents. If you ask faculty, you'll get likely a canned response, but asking the residents, you'll get a great sense of what it's like. And then kind of shifting gears beyond just talking about residents and their health and whatnot, let's shift back into education. And another question I like to ask is, so this is number 5, what is the typical patient population? This helps you get an idea of what type of people you'll be taking care of. Is it high income, low income, a mix? What's the clinic like? Do they speak a different language? Are they primarily English? What are the typical demographics of the patient population? That'll help you to start to understand what kind of things you're going to take care of, what their health literacy is, and all these things. Most residency clinics are going to be a lot of lower income kind of catchment type clinics for those low income people, and so it leads to a lot of experience taking care of diverse range of pathologies, and which is great. But that's a nice question to ask the residents as well as the faculty. It shows that you're interested, and it helps you gauge what you can expect to learn from that program. Another question I like to ask, and I just straight up ask it to the residents and to the faculty: what are the strengths of this program? They know what their strengths are, and if they don't, it's a great question for them to think about what their strengths are. What things do they do particularly well? What can you expect coming out of this program that you're going to be proficient at? That's a great question, and you can just straight up ask, hey, what are the strengths of this? You can ask the residents, what makes this a good place to work? Or another way to word it is, what sets your residency apart from other programs? So that's a good question. And then number 7, the 7th question I like to ask, and it's kind of back towards the idea of resident happiness and wellness. Is there a focus on resident well-being? There's some programs in the country like mine that have somebody that focuses a lot on making sure their residents are taken care of, they're happy. We have, I think, technically three residency coordinators at our program, and they do a great job of making sure we're happy, making sure that we have what we need, and that we're taken care of. And then we have a behavioral health, a psychologist that helps to make sure that we're doing okay too, and that our voice is heard. And so, these are the things you want to look for: is what kind of system do they have in place for resident well-being? Is it more than just, hey, you get 20 days vacation a year? Is there an actual focus on it? Are there people assigned to take care of the residents to make sure that they're happy and doing well? And then the eighth question is, does the residency program teach medical students? There's a lot of residencies that don't, right? A lot of community programs that just don't have any involvement with medical students. If you're interested in that, you definitely want to ask about it, but it also helps you to learn. It helps you to solidify the concepts that you know. So that's a good question to ask, especially if you're interested in teaching. And then the 9th question is, what kind of free time is there with fellow residents, right? Are we only together when we work? Do we have retreats? Do we have lunches together? Do we have didactics together? All of these things. That helps with camaraderie. That helps each other grow, together. And it's nice to go through these things with people that understand what you're going through, and they're going through it at the same time as you. So the 9th question is, what kind of free time is there with fellow residents? And then a very important question, this is number 10. So the 10th question you should ask during your residency interviews is, what can a resident expect from faculty? And that's kind of a very straightforward, blunt type of question. But what do the faculty, how do they treat the residents? How do they teach the residents? What kind of, everybody's different, right? Every faculty member does it a little differently, but there should be certain expectations that the residents can have of the faculty, things that they'll learn, things that they can expect from them. And that's a great question to show that I'm very interested in this place, and I want to know how I'm going to be treated here, type of a thing. So the 11th question is, how is feedback provided, right? Feedback is a great way to learn and to grow from our mistakes, and to really have people point out deficient areas in a constructive way. And so understanding how the residency provides feedback is very important, because that is how you'll grow. That's how you'll learn, and that's how you'll especially learn from your mistakes. And then a 12th question kind of goes along with another one earlier. How many residents are there, right? Are there, not just within the program, but in the hospital in general, right? If there's a general surgery, peds, and internal medicine, if there's all these other residencies, what's the education like with the specialists and the subspecialists? So how many residents are there, not just in the program, but in the hospital in general? That's an important question. And then the 13th question, the final one, how many faculty members are there? And these are things that you can get from their website typically, but sometimes residencies don't list like their part-time faculty. They don't list their adjunct faculty. They don't list the people that come in and just kind of precept from time to time. And so understanding how many faculty members there are will give you a good sense of the faculty to resident ratio. And the lower that ratio, theoretically, the better your learning should be, right? If there's more faculty to residents, then you have more one-on-one time, you have more time to talk to them and get to know them. And so that really helps you grow your medical knowledge instead of trying to occasionally get some information in there when there's 3 other residents trying to talk to that faculty person as well. So those are the 13 questions to ask a residency program. Real quick, we'll just cruise through them again and just hit a list of them so that you can remember what they are. So the first question is, how does the program support its residents? Okay. Second question, how many residents are there in each class? Third question, what is the call schedule like? Fourth, what is the work-life balance? Fifth, what is a typical patient population here at this residency? The sixth question, what are the program's strengths? The seventh, is there a focus on resident well-being? Eighth, does the residency and the residents themselves teach medical students? The ninth question, what kind of free time is there with your fellow residents? 10th, what can the resident expect from faculty? Number 11, how is feedback provided? Number 12, how many other residents are there, not just in the program, but in the hospital in general? And 13, how many full-time and part-time faculty are there? And are there any adjunct faculty? These 13 questions will really help you understand a program from inside and out. And it shows not only interest in the program, but it helps you to gauge if that program is right for you. So I hope this has been helpful. Like I said, it's a little bit different than most other videos that are going to be kind of coming in the future for me for Picmonic. But I really hope this helps. I don't feel like there's quite enough information out there for this type of stuff, and interviews are very, very important, and it can make or break your career. So go through this again, and feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. Feel free to reach out to the Picmonic team, and they can get in touch with me if you have any questions about this. But anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you have a good one.